So then, where are we now? Well, if I can ask you please to just stand up for a minute, and then to turn and face to your right, and then to turn and face to your right again, and then once more to your right, and then back towards me, and you can sit down. That was not to just provide you with some exercise. I just wonder how many of us, a lot of us are familiar with this community. We've been worshipping here for many years. As we look around the church, just how familiar it seems and what we really see. What we really see as we did that 360. How much of the detail we really took in. As we caught a glimpse of one another as we were turning, how many faces did we acknowledge? It's a place of comfort because it's a place of familiarity to many of us. The problem is, as that old saying says, that familiarity breeds contempt. And we often tend to take for granted many of the gifts that we have. Now, if you can't see this clip, you're more than welcome to come forward, but you will need to see that. I'm going to duck down in priestly reverence and play this for you.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make? Go! The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Thought it was appropriate, given that we're quite a strong cyclist in this parish, and I promote the message of look out for cyclists. Please do look out for cyclists. I'm also one of them. Now, the thing is, I really, being coming out of an advertising background, I love that thought. It's easy to miss something you're not looking for. And oftentimes we come into our church communities not looking or not seeing in the way that God would see us. We do that with ourselves, in all of our relationships, in fact. And part of discerning a vision in God is saying, what are we missing, or what are we taking for granted? Now, Moses, that's Charlton Heston actually, but Moses was in a very similar situation. I find it interesting in this reading from Exodus because he's more fearful of going to his own people and proclaiming his leadership than he is in facing down Pharaoh, who's the real power. Pharaoh can cause a real pain. And God says to him, go, tell my people that you shall lead them into a land of milk and honey. Tell them that you have the authority of the God of their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and so on. And he says, good plan. But what if they don't believe? Good plan, what if they don't believe me? And then you have this lovely moment in the scriptures where then Moses answers, but suppose they do not believe me or listen to me. And then God says, but say, the Lord did not appear to you. So they're saying, who are you? Some guy, come up here, tell us what to do. Very reasonable question. I think I would ask the question too. God then says to him, what is that in your hand? He looks, it's a staff, sort of standard issue for a shepherd. Nothing remarkable. It's not like a magic wand or something that he suddenly discovered. He just discovers a simple staff. And this is what I like to call, it's not terribly theological, but holy leverage. God taking the simple things in our everyday worlds and transforming them in such a way that they become really powerful gifts to us, to one another, and to our community. And just as he said, right, cast your staff on the ground, becomes a snake. I'm not suggesting that we could all do that and that would happen, but that miraculous leap is the message, I think, of that reading. Faith that God will deliver with what we have in our hands. And that is a sign of God at work in our midst, transforming the things that we consider to be everyday, ordinary things in miraculous ways. So today we're really asking, what do we have then in our hands? Well, let's start with the kind of bigger picture. First of all, we are in the Diocese of London.